Hi guys, welcome to Learn Tech from Zero. Today we'll be covering further CompTIA Security Plus topic. So let's begin with today's topic, which is AAA, Authentication, Authorization, Accounting. So it's a security concept. When we say a concept, concepts are basically ideas, plans, and then we put them in framework. So AAA is a framework. Basically, when you have ideas and those ideas are designed and people can follow that ideas, we call it framework. So AAA is a framework that we can implement in systems like softwares, people. When we say people and systems, so basically people can follow that framework, or the systems can follow that framework. So what AAA does is basically it ensures that only the right person or the systems get access, and that their actions can be traced. The whole purpose of AAA is it authenticates a person or a system. It authorizes, it will give you whatever you have access to. It will not give you extra information. So that's authorization. And accounting means it will keep a track of everything that you do. So that's the whole concept of AAA: authentication, authorization, accounting. Authentication means you authenticate and log in. Authorization means whatever resources that you are allowed to access. Accounting is it tracks you and logs everything that you do. So we will not keep it too long. If you want to read them in details, you can go to the website and read them in details. So I'll just quickly explain the whole concept for you. So the first one is AA. So why is AA important? The purpose of AA is control who can access. I've already explained these. You can track user activities. So let's start with the first A, which is authentication. So definition: authentication is the process of verifying the identity of a user, a system, or device before allowing access. Can you prove? So basically, you, for example, when you log in, um, using your password and ID, that's authentication. When you log into your phone with a code or finger scan, that's a biometric basically. So that's authentication. So you are authenticating, you are telling them who you are. So that's authentication. Normally it's passwords, PIN, security questions, smart cards, one-time passwords, tokens, fingerprint scans, face recognition, retina. These are authentications. So that's how you authenticate a person. So a person or a system can verify that. So right now we are talking about people. There are other technologies where softwares or systems that has access to other systems, and they will have to authenticate as well. But let's just go with the very basic and simple explanation. All right, so that's what authenticate is. We'll just go to the next one, which is, before we go to authorization, let me give you the common protocols. Protocols are the rules that the systems follow. So let's say, for example, you don't need to know them in details, but you need to understand what are these protocols. So this is, so LDAP, what normally is, it verifies the user based on the database within the Active Directory. It will check for if the user exists in the Active Directory. Kerberos is the process to log in. So this is for secure login. We don't need to know too much in details, but these protocols will come again later on, which we will cover in slightly higher details. And then you have Radius. This is a server which does the whole AAA. So basically, it does the authentication. So what it normally does is it identifies a user. So for example, there are in enterprise level, when you connect to the Wi-Fi, you normally just don't enter a password. Basically, you might have to log in with an ID and password. So that's the Radius server. So your information is saved in the Radius server, and when you log in with the ID and password that's been assigned to you, that's when you can access the internet. That we call it 802.1x authentication. But you don't need to know too much in details for the time being. You just need to know there are protocols for authentications, and these are LDAP, Kerberos, Radius, TACX Plus are the protocols. So this one, the last one, is this is the protocol that the IT people use to log in to switch, router, and other network devices. So that's what those basically. This is for all authentication. These protocols are for authentication. You need to remember those protocols. All right, the next one is authorization. Authorization means after it authorizes you, after it recognizes you, now that they know who you are, what can you do? So like for example, um, let's say if you are a staff, it will not give you access to the management side. So that's what authorization is. So you will only get what you are allowed to access, in simple terms. And you can you can create authorization based on access control models. Like you can read them in details. Sorry, you can read them, but I don't think they will ask you too much in details. Just need to know that for authentication we have LDAP, Kerberos, Radius, TACX Plus. For authorization, the control models are back, like, so role based access control. So based on your role you get the access. Attribute based access control, user attributes like department, device type, location, or time. So based on the attribute, the smaller details, you get access control. Discretionary access control, the owner of the data decides who can access it. So for example, let's say you created a file on OneDrive, so only you have access to it. And if you want to give it, so you are the owner of the file, and if you share it with others, so you are giving access to other people. So that's DAC, the discretionary access control. And then MAC, mandatory access control, is controlled by strict policies, labels, high security environments, etc. These are the files that not everybody. No, this is something that users can control. It can be controlled by the systems or the policies. But you know what? This is not something that you create. These access control models are already implemented in most of the modern devices. Or you normally allocate who gets which role. So for example, the role-based access control, this completely depends on your job role. It could depend on your job role. It could depend on smaller details. This is not something that you need to know too much in detail. This is something that already implemented in devices. So all you need to know is like X, every time it says role-based access control, attribute-based, discretionary access control, mandatory, these are authorization models. All right. The next one is accounting. What did you do? So accounting, in simple terms, everything that you do, the system will log it. Everything that you click, everything that you delete, everything that you add, any changes that you make, the systems will log it on their systems. So on the servers, like firewall switches, routers, they have syslog servers, Windows event logs within the Windows operating system, Radius accounting. Radius is not just for authentication, it does the whole AAA model. So this Radius server can do the authentication, authorization, and accounting for you as well. So it's a completely different server. So the Radius server can do accounting for you as well. And then you have SIEM system in cybersecurity environment that collects and analyzes logs for security alerts. So any security issues, this SIEM system will log everything. And then the cybersecurity analyst or the expert person will look into the details. That's it. How AAA works together. The AAA typically follows this order. It authenticates first, right? You have to verify your identity. It will give you access, and then after it gives you access, it will check what are the things that you are allowed to. So it will give you those things. It won't give you access to everything, and it will create record of everything that you do. So that's it. That's the whole AAA framework. So let's just try a few questions. You can go into to the website, read them, and then practice the questions at the end to test your knowledge. So I will just go through three or four quiz with you to give you a clearer scenario of what we have explained so far. So let's just go with the first question. What does AAA stand for in cybersecurity? So you need to remember the first is authentication, the second is authorization, third is accounting. So AAA is authentication, authorization, accounting. That's it. The next one is which AAA component verifies the identity of a user or device? That we're talking about identity. So identity is authentication. You are authenticating yourself. So you are authenticating a user, or a device is authenticating itself. So it's going to be authentication because you are verifying your identity. Authentication. Yes. All right. The next one. Which AAA component determines what resources a user can access? So what resources a user can access, that you have already. Authentication is when you are about to log in. After you logged in, what resources you can access, that's authorization. You will only be authorized to access certain things, and you will not be allowed to access everything. It all depends on the authorization, what has been authorized under your account or under your role. So it's going to be authorization. It's correct. Okay, we'll try two more. Five questions. So the fourth one is which AAA component logs user activity for auditing and compliance? So everything that you do, everything that you do, the system will log it on their systems, and this is for auditing and compliance. Because if the system doesn't log everything that you do, the system is not compliant, because anyone can just go on there and do whatever they want. So it's not a compliant device. A compliant device is when it follows the law and order. So compliance and auditing for checking reports, creating reports, etc., making sure that everything is in order, etc. So what a so which AAA component logs it? So it's going to be accounting, because it will track everything that you do and it will save it on their system. So it's going to be accounting. All right, one last one. Which protocol is commonly used for AAA in network devices? Which one is commonly for AAA in network devices? So we have, as I have previously explained, radius is a very it's this is definitely one of the questions will be definitely about radius in CCN exam. So radius covers the whole AAA. You need to remember, radius server does accounting, authorization, and authentication, authorization, and accounting. SMTP is for it's mail protocol, email protocol. FTP is file transfer protocol. HTTP is for web browsing. So these are three different protocol. They don't do AAA. This is the only thing which does the whole AAA. You need to remember that. So I'm just going to click on this. That's it. So yep, if you go through the whole topics, and if you have any questions, just leave a comment and I will happily explain it to you. So thanks for your time, and I will see you next time.